Burger decided to give a talk about generation gap. Besides that, there are so many topics in this world I could talk about, but why generation gap? Now, let me tell you the reason behind I chose this topic. So, I have some friends in school who are facing problems with their family, and I think that as a friend, I should be their listener and listen to their problem and solve their problem. But I didn't know what was the solution back then. So I was thinking, since I have this chance to stand on this stage, why not bring up the topic generation gap? Generation gap has been talking about for the past few decades, including myself. So today I'll be telling you more about generation gap through a perspective of a teenager. Now, let's move on. Before I start my whole talk, let me start off by telling you a story. A story about a girl named Joey. Joey is just like any other normal girl you can see on the street, you can see in school, you can see anywhere. She's very normal. Now, when Joey was born in this world, the very first person who helped her was her parents. Dear parents, do you still remember the feeling when you first held your child? I bet the feeling was so indescribable and so precious. Seeing your child right in front of you after 9 months of hardship, how would you feel? And thinking that everything is worth it. But I'm not too sure about the experience. It's because I never experienced it before. It was my parents who actually told me about it. So this is where Joey's life finally begins. Now, just like any other normal child, from a baby who started crying to a toddler who learned how to walk. And everyone, let's not forget that parents are the one that witness our growth from crying every single day. Yeah, this is how we cried last time. Yeah, and to learn how to walk. And everyone, let's not forget that parents are the one that witness our walking, from our falling, to everything. And parents, you all are the one that bring us to this world, and I want to take this chance to really appreciate my parents to actually bring me to this world. And of course, from a baby who started to cry, right, like just now, to a baby who learned how to walk, and even Joey's parents even teach us some basic alphabets like A, B, C, D, F, E, F, G. Yeah, Joey went through all these stages as well. Now, moving on. Now, as a student, right, we have to go to kindergarten, then later got primary school, then later got yes, high school, secondary school. Yeah, high school, high school. Now let's just talk about kindergarten and primary school first. Now, teenagers, do you still remember the first day when you first go to school? The feeling of anxiousness and not knowing what to expect during school time. And even though you as a student, you are feeling very scared, but I believe that there is someone behind us. Someone that is much more scared than us. And that is our parents. Am I right, parents? Now, let's move on to primary school. As I was talking about primary school is either a time where you have the best memory and you want to leave the school, or you have the worst memory and you want to leave the school. Yeah, there are between that. Now, as a primary student back then, we always receive tons of homework in our 家课 book. Now, this 家课 book is where we indicate all our homework in that book. And if there is just one day there aren't any book written in that 家课 book, that means that we as a student has gotten the jackpot. And this jackpot is so amazing. Now, parents, you all might be thinking, what is this jackpot she's trying to talk about? Now, let me tell you our definition of this word jackpot. You know, like sometimes, like you all parents will win first prize, second prize, third prize, or 大马彩 Toto or Magnum, right? That feeling you all feel is exactly how we felt when there aren't any homework written in that 家课 book. Okay, so moving on. In school, we have something called the homework. Back at home, we have something called the expectation from our parents. Now, parents, the word expectation means like sometimes you all will meet in your working place, just like how your boss expects good and quality work from you all. But even though sometimes how much effort you put inside to make it come true, it might not be even noticed by your boss. That feeling you all face is exactly how we felt back then, and even now, I believe. Now, moving on. Parents, teenagers, do you know that both of you have a very, very special relationship? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so like let's just say that every relationship between a child and their parents is just like a bridge. A very, very, very strong bridge. And let's take Zoe as an example. When Zoe was young, she started off very close with her parent on the bridge. There wasn't any gap between them because Zoe's parent was the only person she could trust and rely on. Basically, nothing could separate them apart. But you know, in life, there are things that could actually separate the gap and separate the bridge. And that is called the 3D. Not the 3D glasses, but the 3 Ds, which are disappointment, disagreement, and demotivation among each other. These are the things that could actually cause a gap between the bridge. Now, back to my story. As I was mentioning about Joey, right, being a primary student who received tons of homework, tons of expectations, and even treat exam as war. Her life was just very, very peaceful and fine, but that one day had come. The one ultimate horror day for all the students out there. And that is called the report card day. Yeah. Joey's mom was really, really expecting a lot in terms of academics without this term. But things didn't go so well, I believe. Girl, why you get so bad for your this term exam? You know you can get all A for what go 1B? Huh? Mommy, I'm really sorry. I will try harder next time. I promise. Try harder next time. Okay, now you go study right now, please. Oh, Mommy angry at me. What should I do? Oh yeah, I can make the sorry card I did for her last time. Okay, sorry card. Let's go. That's the sorry card. Sorry. S-O-R-R-Y. Card. Okay, right inside. A lot of things. Oh, I have to give this to Mommy. Okay, Mommy. Mommy, this is the sorry card for you. Girl, you know I forgive you one, but then now you see everyone get all straight A. It's not Yasu, you know, it's not. You must really get good results to be on the top, you know. Now, everyone, so children is actually a form of disappointment received. Remember about the 3D I mentioned just now? The 3D, the bridge? Even though it's such a small situation, but it caused a gap between the bridge, causing them to stand apart from each other. But everyone, thanks to Zoe's small interaction to do the sorry card, they actually narrowed down. But unfortunately, there was a war between them. A war they cannot get rid of. A war they have to face. But the only thing they could do to narrow down the gap is just to do good things and appraise each other. That's the only way they could actually narrow down the bridge. Now, back to the story. Now, as I was mentioning just now, Zoe being a primary student, right? After kindergarten, after primary school, there is high school once again. Now, high school is a time of something new, you know. Now, teenagers, do you agree with me that high school is either the time when you want to go into become a child, and you really want to step into a teenage life and feel the teenage aura and become a teenager, or you want to go back to primary school and become a kid forever? Yeah. Do you agree with me? Yes. So high school is always like this, and high school is a time where everything changes. It's so hard to make friends, and making the first step to make friends was forever scary and awkward. And now we have to use pens instead of pencils. Now Joey here had a really hard time to find her friends and mix around with the new crowd. But despite all these negative challenges, there is something that Joey, not just Joey, but all the teenagers anticipate after stepping into their teenage life. And that is receiving our first smartphone, iPhone, from our parents. Yeah, so after Joey finally had her new phone, she was one step more in-depth into the social network, social media, social network. Yeah. And as a curious teenager like her, she always loved to share things that happened around in school, about her friends with her mom. And something like this happened when she was sharing about her friends to her mom. Mom, you know today my this friend and this friend they argue. And then my other friend, she started crying. And then I don't know, then the teacher not doing anything, And then the house tour, the whole classroom is so messy. Oh. Girl, I think you shouldn't mix around with your friend anymore they're not suitable for you, Instead of friends put study first, study come first, anything study first. You must be like your koko, tete, all your cousin, they all very smart, they all get straight A, you must be like them. Mom, why do you always have to change the topic when I'm talking about my friends? And can you stop comparing me with other people? Oh dear, I am not comparing. I'm just telling you that you should be like them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is this scene familiar to you? It can always happen in a small conversation with our parents. Our parents are very special ones. They can change our topic about friends to our future, to our studies. Very king one, And then, Joey, actually it happened to Joey too. And for me, I think it's quite a serious problem as it can lead to teenagers not wanting to talk to their parents anymore. And can cause misunderstanding among each other. Now, unfortunately, this had happened to Zoe. There was a disagreement among them. When there's a disagreement, there's a breach, there's a treaty. Even though it's such a small situation once again, it caused a gap between the breach. Just imagine how many times we as a teenager, we as a child, we talk back to our parents. Once a harsh word comes up from our mouth, one step further we are from our parents. And the breach will just be there, unsolved. Now, after Joey thinks that her mom couldn't understand her anymore, she always changed my topic. No point of me talking to my mom and my dad. No point. She started using gadgets, iPhone, as a tool of avoiding conversation with her mom. She thinks that going on social media is much more entertaining. Talking to a friend is much more fun and relatable. These are the moments she felt really satisfied with herself. Now, looking at this picture right here, these are the things that teenagers nowadays use to express their own true self. They think that these things can really relate to them. Now you can always see teenagers posting status on Facebook, tweeting on Twitter, and even posting pictures of how they feel. Teenagers love the support they get from the social media as it makes them confident and comfortable as someone is actually supporting them, unlike at home. People on social media are very responsive and even sometimes encouraging. But back at home, teenagers couldn't get the support and encouragement they want from their parents. When they want to try something new, when they want to try something, it's a no. That's why teenagers nowadays depend so much on their phone and not wanting to talk to their parents anymore. Now, moving on. Everyone, I think you all will relate to me. Something like this always happens when we get our result, our achievement back from home. And then we show it to our parents, very happy. And then something, I think you guys can guess the conclusion already. Something will happen. Now let me act it out for you all. Yeah, I got 70 for my science result! Aiyo, girl, 70 where got enough? Next time you must be lawyer, doctor, engineer. B, not enough A . Try harder next time girl. Now, is this scene familiar to you all? Parents, just imagine that you are holding a project for your boss to check, a project you have put in so much effort to make it come true. And when you hand it to your boss, without even looking through, without even asking you further about the project, he just rejected it and asked you to try harder next time. how would you feel? Sad? Devastating? This is how we teenagers felt countless of times. So many times where we just kept quiet and did nothing about it. But deep down in our heart, all our self-esteem has went missing. Parents, instead of saying, try harder next time, why not? Well done, great job, you did great, or at least 78. Let's see what we can do about it. Aren't these words so much better? Sometimes words of encouragement that comes out from you, all parents, are the greatest support we can get. We really need encouragement and support from you all. It really means a lot to us. Now, back to Joey. Since Gadget can really express how she felt deep down in her heart, her daily routine was just phone, computer, and talking to her friends. And there is one day her mom got so upset with her. Why is my children always on the phone? She don't even want to talk to me. What's wrong with her? I really have to talk to her. Girl, how was school today? Like that lah. Can you stop playing with your phone? I'm talking to you. Faster, what you want to say? What's with that attitude? Who taught you how to be like this? Faster, say what you want to say, faster. What happened to you? After you have your phone, you don't even want to talk to us. Confirm your friend who have taught you how to be like this. Stop playing your phone, else I'm going to confiscate it. Fine. Suddenly, the breach increased tremendously, causing a crack between each other, and they can no longer talk to each other gently and politely, just like how the breach was formed. They have to shout and scream at each other when it comes to communicating, as they are so far apart. And there will be one day that both of them are so upset with this routine, they will just turn their back and not talk to each other anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I call the generation gap. The gap that caused so many troubles in our family. Now, let me ask you all a question. Do you think that generation gap exists? Yes, honestly speaking here, it does exist. But are we going to keep this gap bigger and bigger? Yes, that's the way, everyone. I believe that everyone is so determined that they do not want this gap. Let me share with you some humble solutions to this generation gap. Now, the first solution is actually very, very easy. We use it in our daily life to express what we feel like expressing. It starts with a C and ends with an N. And it's communication. Teenagers, if you think that you do not have a way of communicating with your parents, if you think the way of communicating with your parents is rude, then change it. Parents, if you think that the way of communicating with your child is demotivating them, then change it. Teenagers, parents, if you think that both of you do not have the way of communicating that makes both of you comfortable, then change it. We, as a human, live in this world full of changes around us, and sometimes we aren't even be able to catch up the things that are changing. But with effort, nothing is impossible. Now, generation gap will always be there. It's the matter of a narrow gap or a wide gap. It takes two to make things work. It takes two sides of communication. And I always believe that with this narrow gap, it can enhance better relationships. healthier relationship that leads to a happier family with greater support with each other, and make this world a better place to live in, as everything starts from the family. Thank you.